What's up, Star Wars fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast back with another action figure unboxing. This time, I'll be taking a look at 5 Star Wars Black Series figures. They are Morgan Elsbeth, Professor Huyang, General Hera Syndulla, Ezra Bridger, and Ahsoka Tano. I am very excited to unbox these figures. These are all recent clearance sale and outlet store finds. Each of these is from the Ahsoka show, with the exception of Ahsoka herself. This figure is an earlier one from the Mandalorian. Ahsoka's packaging features a brief character description in 5 different languages. The other 4 packages feature a show description, once again in 5 different languages. If you would like to read any of these, just hit pause and do so now. I also did an older full review of this Ahsoka Tano figure. I'll make sure to put a link in the description below. Also, make sure to check out my Star Wars playlist. But for now, let's have a closer look at these releases from Hasbro. Let's have a look at Morgan Elsbeth, and as you can see, the packaging is not in great condition. I found this figure tossed to the back of a bottom clearance shelf. I do appreciate the artwork on the older Black Series packaging, but now let's have a closer look at the loose figure. And here is Morgan Elsbeth, free of the package and ready to create some chaos. This is a well done figure for the most part. I think the color choices for the dress are accurate, as is the sculpting on the hairstyle. The figure does have one glaring issue, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But for now, let's have a look at the figure's articulation. The figure's movement is actually far better than I expected. As you can see, the dress has been cut into sections, so if you want to get the figure into various kicking poses, you do have those options. The feet move very well, and you can get the figure into a running pose. The articulation on the upper body is pretty close to standard for Star Wars Black Series figures. The shoulders of the dress do hinder the arms just a little when it comes to raising them over the figure's head. You can't do a true 360, however, I still think that the articulation is adequate. The biggest issue that I have with this figure is that it really should have included the Blade of Talzin as an accessory. I'd also like to point out that Hasbro did an excellent job at capturing the likeness of Diana Lee Inosanto as Morgan Elsbeth on Ahsoka. Now let's have a look at Professor Huyang, and once again, I really appreciate the artwork on this old Black Series packaging. I don't quite understand why a figure like Morgan Elsbeth has no accessories and this one has 3. Nonetheless, let's get a look at the loose Huyang figure now. In terms of character appearance details, I don't see anything that Hasbro missed on this figure. The sizes of the limbs and the torso are accurate. There's great detail on all of the joints of this figure, and I really appreciate that. And the likeness of the head sculpt is on target as well. So now let's have a look at this figure's articulation. Collectors should be happy with the articulation on this figure. There is plenty of movement, as you can see here. This tool belt is a separate piece, so it does not hinder the articulation in the hips. In fact, I would say that the joints are flexible to the point where it feels like you could possibly do damage if you get overzealous when you're posing this figure. So if you're someone who likes to put your figures in dynamic poses, exercise caution when doing so with this one. Also, you cannot get the figure's arms to raise up directly from the sides. However, you can get them to do a 360. The articulation on the head is magnificent, so overall I am impressed with what Hasbro did here. Two of the accessories, including this data pad, can be placed into the figure's hand, and those are secure fits, so I appreciate that. And then we have this backpack that ports into the hole on the figure's back, and this has the extra arms, and these are articulated as well, and that is quite impressive. Ahsoka is my favorite character of the ones involved in this unboxing. However, this might well be the best of the 5 figures for all that it offers collectors. Now let's have a look at Hera Syndulla. And this artwork would make an outstanding poster. Once again, this was the packaging that Hasbro was using before they adopted the plastic-free packaging. Some mint-on-card collectors might be a little disappointed that the Ahsoka figures feature a show description instead of individual character descriptions. And here we have General Syndulla, free of the package and ready to rumble. I really like figures based on Twi'lek characters because they have such a unique look within the Star Wars universe. One of the things that I noticed about the characters that we saw in Rebels, like Zeb and Sabine and of course Hera, is that these characters were more colorful than the usual colors that we see for characters in Star Wars, which is usually earth tones and metallic colors. And when Hera showed up on Ahsoka, she was especially visually striking with the green skin and the orange pants. Also, Hasbro did an outstanding job here, not only with the wrinkles sculpted into the clothing, but also the paint application on the flight jacket, especially the very intricate looking symbols. Let's have a look at the articulation now, and I'm very appreciative of the ankle pivoting here. That makes this figure very sturdy. I thought there might be some articulation issues with the hips, but I was wrong. As you can see, she kicks to the side and forward very well. I also worried a little about the flight jacket, and it does hinder the arms just a little, but not to the point where I felt disappointed with this figure's articulation. Once again, the neck joint moves very well, which gives collectors posing options. The figure comes with one accessory, and that's this blaster that fits securely in her hand with an extended trigger finger. Now let's have a look at the Ezra Bridger figure, and the obvious issue here is that this figure looks nothing like the Ezra that we saw on the Disney Plus Ahsoka TV series, even though this figure is identified as being from that series. This clearly looks like the Ezra that we saw in the latter seasons of Rebels. And here we see Ezra Bridger, free of the package and ready to rumble. Once you get past the fact that this figure is inaccurate for the show on which it was based, it actually is an excellent figure in many ways. The color choices, the paint applications, and the sculpting are all very eye-catching. I certainly hope that we eventually get a screen-accurate Ezra Bridger as he looked on Ahsoka with the longer hair and the beard. That being said, I still think that this is a solid figure, and I'm very happy that I found it and added it to my collection. Now let's have a look at the articulation. Once again, no issues to speak of. You can certainly get the figure into a deep running pose. As you can see, the holster is a separate piece, but it does not stop the legs from moving quite well. The torso moves smoothly, as do the joints in the arms. They're swiveling at the elbow, and that gives you posing options with the blaster and the lightsaber. The arms do a 360, and once again, there is excellent movement in the neck joint. The figure comes with a blaster and lightsaber, and I think this lightsaber is better than some of the other Black Series lightsabers that I've seen. The coloring is more vibrant, and it's very eye-catching. And here's a look at a figure based on one of the brightest stars on the Disney Channel. Of course, it is Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. If you like extensive reviews, make sure to click the link in the description below for a full review of this figure. But with no further ado, let's bust open this package and see what's inside. And here we see Ahsoka Tano, free of the package and ready to rumble. Ahsoka is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, so I was very happy to add this figure to my Black Series collection, especially since I like the look that she had in live action more so than the animated versions. This figure is screen accurate with some magnificent paint applications on the head sculpt. And the attire looks very realistic. For a figure that does not employ the use of soft goods, this is as realistic as a costume can look. So I'm very impressed by Hasbro's work here. This is definitely one of my favorite Black Series figures. I was initially concerned about this figure's articulation, however Hasbro did some innovative work here. As you can see, even though the knee joints are hidden, the articulation does not suffer. The figure kicks very well forward and to the side, so I am very impressed here. There's standard movement in the arms and torso, so that gives you posing options with the lightsabers. The only limitation that I see is with the head sculpt, and that is primarily due to Ahsoka's Leku, as you can see, but overall the articulation is satisfactory. And the figure comes with these two accessories that reflect Ahsoka's trademark lightsabers with the white plasma blades. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review. Make sure to check out my Star Wars playlist, and please tell all of your friends about this channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more Star Wars content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.